Hey, Mark Willie, what's up, buddy?
Hey, welcome to BS Fridays. Hello, Dave.
How are you, my bearded friend?
I'm good. I do not have the coffee mug today. I have just water, just water.
Well, that's okay. Water is good. I mean, I think you were sitting on a lake or something this morning.
Yeah, while we were talking, I got done kayaking. I was still all wet, so I was sitting on the porch.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, dude, I don't know. I mean, episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 were all great. I have a feeling episode 5 is going to be almost epic. What do you think? Actually, I think we got to go that way. So,
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There you go, Dave. Terrible. Terrible.
Either way. So, I mean, we have all kinds of things happening on today's show. We're going to have Lindsay Elton, Joe Kanapaki is going to be on. He's probably going to kill me if I butchered his name. But, dude, this is going to be huge. And then we have some surprise guests popping in through the show. I'm going to be a madman trying to work all the computer stuff.
I love it. Be a madman, and if we mess up, we just BS our way through it. All good, my friend. All good.
I have something for you. I don't know if you caught my show with Devin Perry. I said, Devin, what does BS stand for? And shame on me. He goes, building systems.
Building systems. Okay.
How did we not get that one?
Yeah. Sean of 475 had people cracking up on the Passive House Accelerator Wednesday, and they were all chiming in with different versions of BS. And he goes, Mark, how come we can't have build sustainable? And I said, Sean, we could do whatever you like, my friend. Bring it on. So it was like a 6-minute rant after a 2.5 hour happy hour and after hour. So God bless all those folks for getting on and sharing their wisdom. Love that night. Such a fun night.
Yeah, you know what? Those events are a lot of fun, and I'm always surprised at how many hundreds of people are on that Zoom call.
Yeah,
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Well, what do you think, man? Should we hop in? Should we bring some guests into the show? Should we keep them in the holding tank?
I think people are tired of listening to RBS. Let's welcome Eco Achievers and Insight Property Services.
I love it. We got Lindsay, we have Joe, and we have Jennifer, all going to be joining us today. How awesome is that?
Hi.
Okay, Lindsay Elton, Joe Kanapaki, Jennifer, Mark the Bare Naked Willie, and myself, Dave Cooper. And if we can do it, we're going to do the Brady Bunch thing here. So, listen, guys. We have a lot to cover. We have a lot of fun that we're going to have. I think it'll be really good if Lindsay and Joe, you can share your stories with us. And Lindsay, I think we're going to have you go first. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from, and I'm excited to hear all this because I've heard nothing but great things about you.
Yeah, how did you come into the green industry, Lindsay? I know people are at the edge of their seats already.
It's riveting, isn't it? Actually, the green industry is a second career for me. I got into the industry for a love of the environment, but really I was in a bad position career-wise, and I went to like a green event, and I had this like epiphany moment where the skies parted and the angels started singing, and it was like, you want to do sustainability. So it was from that point that I quit my job that I hated, which happened to be in at the beginning of the first recession at 2008, and started volunteering with the Chicago Green Homes Program. I'm getting involved with all different types of green building and sustainability organizations, and I found Eco Achievers and the founder, Jason LaFleur, and from that point I started working with him, and that was in 2014. I became president in 2017, and now I just opened our Detroit office, so it's super, super exciting. We just get to meet some amazing people, and I feel extremely fortunate to be amongst all you all in this community.
Love it. Love it. Outstanding. I saw Eco Achievers. There's your website up there. So we're going to move on to Joe. Joe, listen, I mean, same thing. Give us your background, give us your story. And I don't know if everybody knows, you actually have a red door blower test behind you. Do you know that?
Yeah, it's referred to as a blower door. This is a nice simulation of it that we use to educate folks. But I got into this by way of being a property owner, property manager, dealing with all the problems you have when you have a home or building multi-unit. And I was in charge typically of figuring out what was going wrong and trying to fix it. And I was getting tired of getting shabby answers or thin answers from tradespeople who, after decades in the business, probably should have been able to give me a better answer. But I was always pretty good at calling BS on people. And if you can't explain it to me clearly, then maybe you don't understand it very well. And I didn't understand any better either. So, I mean, we were both in the same boat, except they were charging me as if they knew. Became a home inspector, got into building science, kind of brought all that knowledge together. And anytime I had a question, I found, an educated individual that could explain it to me adequately, and then just kind of went from topic to topic. And then realized that after solving our problems, a lot of people have the same problems. And if you buy a couple $1,000s worth of equipment, you've got to pay it off by helping other people out. So that's kind of the long and short of it. People need advice about complicated systems, and I like solving problems, and so that's what we do for folks.
I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely awesome what both of you do for the industry. You're keeping us all honest. I love that as well. Jennifer's with us as well. So I don't know if everybody knows Jennifer on BS Friday. This is the first appearance on BS Friday for Jennifer. And it's kind of fun because I can tap her on the shoulder just like that through the. So listen, I think this is great. I think having Lindsay and Joe and Jennifer on is going to be awesome, Mark. I think we're going to have a great conversation on everything that we're looking to do here. So with that said, Mark, should we jump into the first question?
Let's go to question one. Let's kick this off. This is for you first, Lindsay. We would like to know our energy efficiency programs and incentives necessary for improving home performance.
I think they are a vital part in getting the performance movement going. And I've seen this personally with specifically our passive house projects. In the state of Illinois, there's a clean energy grant that's provided to nonprofit associations that build net zero. And we've seen so much increased involvement because of that program that I don't think would be there if that funding wasn't available. So sometimes you just need to get the ball rolling. I do think, though, that there needs to be a balance because folks such as Joe, myself, and all the trades and all of the experience and the work that goes into it, that experience, we need to make sure that our tradespeople and the folks in the industry are also getting paid for the work too. So I think it's an important place, and the people who and the organizations who are putting them on are involving us in some of their decisions. So I think it's a great thing.
Love that, Joe. Add to it, contradict it. Give us your insight.
I'll give you the perspective that I see from more of the residential side of things. Personally, I think that doing energy efficiency improvements to a home pay for themselves. I think there's other ancillary benefits just beyond the energy efficiency. The challenge is homes are complicated. People are busy. They have other things that distract them. And having a program like this has the ancillary benefit of educating homeowners about these programs, about not necessarily programs, but the process of improving your home. And this is necessary for the contractors as well. I mean, the contractors have a hard time selling this stuff. But if people call up and say, hey, I heard, the ComEd Nicor have got a program and you'll give me a few $100s for air sealing my house, that kind of opens up the conversation. It opens them up to doing some research. I don't even know if the incentives have to be all that high. I think having the program, the biggest benefit of the program is having that educational piece where you're spreading that understanding among the homeowners, among the contractors, and everybody involved, and keeping that conversation going. I think that's probably the biggest value, is the wide spread that the conversation has when there's a statewide program or utility-wide incentive program.
That was beautiful.
It was beautiful, and I having the statewide programs, one of the things I've been a builder for 20 years out here, and the education portion of what you guys do is so important in making it attainable for everybody to easily have access to the knowledge, to the education within the system, so it's not a burden, it's not too expensive for them, so they can learn is a big deal to me to really grow, energy, the conversation around energy efficiency programs. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
Definitely.
Go for that, Joe.
No, I don't know what I could add to it. That's it. I mean, people, knowledge just doesn't, drop into people's head. I have to remind myself that the stuff that I know is not shared by a lot of people. I went and found that knowledge for whatever reason, or I stumbled upon it, or somebody brought it up to me. But to presume that other people have, somehow stumbled upon it themselves it's just presumptuous, and there's guys that are just slogging through day to day, customer to customer in the trades. And how are they gaining that extra knowledge unless they're taking some time after work to go start doing research? And why would they do that unless the customer's asking them to do it, or the state or program is mandating it, or there's some carrot out there that they're hustling after? So I like simple carrots, that go out there. That's why I see the efficiency programs is put that carrot out there and let everybody's hustle bubble up, because there's going to be people that are going to be chasing somebody else's hustle, right? So get the carrot out there.
I see Jennifer, she already made a note of that quote, right? We need more carrots out there. That's beautiful.
Another t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, here's the part that I always wonder, when you think about builders in new construction, so often this piece of it is an add-on. It's a bolt-on. We don't think about it as part of the MEPs, for example, where it's just what we do. So often builders present this as an option or something you could do afterwards. How do we get more people to just integrate it into the process and not even make it an option? It should just be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should be. It should be.
Yeah,
Dave,
absolutely.
do we have any friends? Do we have any friends involved here that we could pop on?
I have like a whole school yearbook underneath this right now. If you could see it, it's if you could think of your high school yearbook, that's what it looks like on the screen. I think it's absolutely awesome. So why don't we do that? Why don't we bring some of these other people in? And we're going to start with Sean St. Amour, and he can correct me on the name if I got it wrong or right. Sean, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
Perfect. Hey, everybody. Great to see everyone. Great show.
Sean, it sounds like you're used to being live.
Well, every week we do a live event just like you guys. We're doing the happy hour. So, again, great to be involved with that and promoting high-performance building in Passive House. And, again, it's an event where the Passive House Accelerator is, again, comes on board. It's the global Passive House Happy Hour. We get about, 250 people from Australia to Germany because it's kind of like the time frame. And we just talk Passive House. I'm the kind of like the pre-host and the after-hour party host, and Monty Paulson and Prudence Ferreira do the happy hour, and I kind of just bring in the energy at the beginning and keep it flowing afterwards. So, and sometimes the after hour goes, we kind of keep it to an hour. Sometimes it goes 2.5 hours, and they probably would keep going all night long if I didn't shut it down. So it's a fun time.
Yeah, they definitely would. So I don't know if you can see the banner, but I guess congratulations is in order, right?
Yeah.
1 year anniversary, Passive House Accelerator. And listen, I have to say it because I've logged on a few times to it, and I'd do it more if I didn't have 3 kids and a million things to do and stay on for hours every night. But it is absolutely amazing to me that you have hundreds of people tune in for this well, it was weekly, or it is weekly, right?
Yeah. Well, same thing as you guys. I mean, the amount of people you guys are attracting, like the amount of information right now happening is just fantastic. Like every week there's so many great events you can log on and learn, and it's just really exciting. And the fact that we try to find hosts to bring together that have amazing projects that are great presenters, and then we just dive into it. So you got 15 minutes to showcase your project, talk about the success and challenges, and then we leave about half an hour of questions, and the question period just completely fills up. And that's why we had to have the after hour, just to keep it going on. So we respect people's time and say, okay, come in for an hour, but if you still want to, geek out and nerd out and all this stuff, let's stick around and have fun.
And we can have drinks while we're doing it. Nobody's going to judge us, right?
Yeah, so you can have your water, or if you want to go top shelf after hours, it's where we go top shelf.
Absolutely love it.
John,
love it.
I think we need to have a Passive House Accelerator to a BS Fridays marathon where we go all the way through.
Do you remember like in the 80s where you were watching a show and then they would switch? They would, like 1 week, they'd switch characters. I think we should do that. We should just figure out how to 1 week switch. So we're got to make that happen.
Hey, I'll put on a 475 shirt for you any day. No worries.
Hey, we'll get you one for sure. Absolutely.
So I think we should take this moment to say thank you to Michael Ingwe for starting the Passive House Accelerator, and to everything that you do, Sean, and Monty, and Zach, and Prudence, and Andy. Much respect. We'll put a link up, so everyone should be joining you on Wednesdays, and I appreciate you, my friend.
Hey, thanks you guys so much. Again, great stuff what you guys are doing. And again, it's about this education and this time where we have lots of time. Let's just keep learning from each other and all these great examples, and just keep going, because we need to scale faster and harder, and we need to just keep this thing going. So all the efforts around, and again, all the work that you guys are doing, bravo, and let's just keep sharing, because sharing is caring, and keep it going.
I absolutely love it. John, I really appreciate you popping. Go ahead, Mark. I jumped on you.
Sorry, Sean, before you jump out, can you lead us into the next segment and read question 2? And Joe, you're going to give the answer.
Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. Okay, sorry. Why has building air sealing been so difficult to incorporate into the building process?
Hey, man. Take your shot.
In my opinion, that it's been difficult because, one, air is really hard to see. And if you can see the air, you're either on something or there's something in the air. So it's hard to manage something that's invisible. That's the first thing. And generally the standard for building tightness, I joke around, but it's been keep the water out and keep the squirrels out. Beyond that, it's tight enough. So short of showing the tradesmen exactly the effects that air leakage can have in a building, and when I mean show them, I mean on the house they live in, or something like that. It's got to be a show and tell kind of thing. They have to feel that air leakage. They have to see the equipment moving that air. They have to handle an infrared camera that shows them surface temperature changes because of it. It's hard to really feel it and understand it and appreciate the importance of it. And they've not done it forever. Right? Nobody's ever been really trying to control the air leakage in any significant way. It's just not on their radar unless somebody puts it there. And again, the fact that air can leak through ductwork, you're not going to lose your drywall. You're not going to have water, stains. Leaking air is leaking air. It's really easy to kind of sneak right past you and not appreciate. So tough to control stuff you can't see.
I love it. And if you can see, we're on something. So I guess I got to lay off the Motrin.
And I would also add to that, it seems like it's an evolutionary shift in thought where I heard it yesterday on site on one of our projects that, well, this place or this house or this unit is too tight. It needs to breathe. The building needs to breathe. And it's not the building that needs to breathe, because we've become more advanced in our designs and system designs where we are now controlling the air and water and allowing the building assemblies to breathe out or breathe in or breathe both ways. It's the people that need to breathe. So I think it's that evolution, and yeah, people just aren't used to it. And it's a really cool experience to be in have a blower door test going, and have multiple tradespeople where, on plans, they're like, I know this, I've done this, I did what was according to plans. And you have this huge aha moment because the air starts leaking in and all those, small places that you weren't aware of. And they're like, oh, okay, so I've got that. This is me, and it just, it's a huge, great experience. And I think it's just how the industry is learning and adapting and evolving.
One thing whenever somebody says the building needs to breathe, my correction is people need to breathe. The building has to not trap moisture and to keep outside out and inside in. That's what needs to happen.
Seriously, if your building starts breathing, you need to get the hell out of there, right? That's just weird.
Well,
Fall back on the meds.
and I think that I would also say too that some of the air sealing, like, it's not a sexy job. It's not. It's kind of a thankless job too. Like, you go around with a caulk gun and you see it and then you move on and you do it as fast as you can. But what you don't realize is that is so important to do. And that's one of the things, to go back on the learning moments that Joe was talking about with the trades and with homeowners and with developers and builders, that, how many times have you seen caulk along sill plates that it's not even covering the seam that it's supposed to? So just really kind of taking a look at things. And I think all these tools will help us all and get a better product.
Yeah. So once upon a time, I was in a house for the first blower door test ever, and friends of ours, Timothy Hepner, and he had the blower door sitting on the ground, and everyone was in anticipation. And he said, "Well, in our building, we don't use a blower door. We put a duct blaster in the window because the house is so tight. I have to do it through my window." And I think on many occasions, both Joe and Lindsay were there for that. And so I'd like to add to what Lindsay said is a couple tubes of caulk, right? You put a couple tubes of caulk in your building. You don't have to be a skilled craftsman. You have to be a detail-oriented person to put it there, to put it in the right place, and to do it before you insulate the interior, right? Mm-hmm. That's all it takes. Difference of good to great is about $18 a caulk. So get over yourselves, people. You can do this.
It's $18. I'm going to do the math on that, and we're going to talk about it. I love it. And Lindsay, I know it's a thankless job, but it's such an important job. If somebody thinks about it, I would also hesitate. Like, even, I live in New London County in Connecticut, and it's the home of submarine building, right? And I would bet to say the guy that's caulking the inside of a submarine from leaking is just as important, right? Oh. We don't want water leakage. We don't want air leakage. And I love it. I agree. I think it's a tedious and painful job. But when you think about the importance of it for what we're talking about, it's probably one of the most important jobs there is to get an airtight house.
100%. Because it's not, oftentimes people get confused with the insulation and the air sealing. So they say, oh, I've got all this insulation in my walls. It's a super tight house. And I had to get BS nerdy on someone yesterday and say, well, actually, that's conduction, not convection. And so that's, and kind of go in the differences. But I guess also looking at it, when we're looking at the performance of code of some of these programs that the homes are going into, it's all riding on the folks who are doing this air sealing. There are thresholds that you have to hit. And if those guys and gals and that team aren't doing their job and they're not getting supported, then you're not going to have, all of the design goes down the tube, and also that funding or those dollars are going away too. So it's a critical piece.
Absolutely.
Speaking of critical pieces, do we have a critical person from Switzerland that can join us?
We do, and I think we bring him in, and I also think we got to get to some of the audience comments and questions too. So
yeah,
let's bring Etienne in. Etienne.
Hey everyone, how are you guys doing?
Hi.
So far you're the winner of the best accent on the show today, in my opinion. I will say Etienne's been struggling lately, because they brought back plastic bags.
That's right. Yeah, but supposedly it helps with COVID, so I can't be fully against it, right? Yeah, that's a little inside joke here. Not a big fan of that, but anyways, welcome everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm always excited if I meet Lindsay and Joe, because you guys do a lot of blower door tests, and I'm just curious to learn from you. After having done many of those, where are the common leaks? Where do you usually see that people miss a spot, and how is it fixed? So maybe if you could give us a little bit background from the field there.
Sure. Transitions, like wall to floor to roof transitions, anywhere, like the wall itself is a perfect air barrier. It's when you put penetrations into the wall that you have issues. So windows, rim band joists, sill plates, any mechanical penetrations, especially in the roof, if for single family homes, if you have an attic, penetrations up in the roof, the way that we typically proceed because of stack effect and pressure is we come in the house and we address issues, air sealing issues in the top part of the house. So we seal up the hole. If you've got a convective loop, we seal up the hole on the top, and we go to the bottom, and we look at areas of leakage down there. But I would definitely say transitions are the biggest piece. Assembly transitions.
Yeah,
it's not complicated. The drywall is a great air barrier. And just where are the holes and where are the seams? Where are the edges? Nobody needs to do air sealing in the middle of the ceiling unless there's a light fixture in the middle of the ceiling, and then you're going for that hole. So again, it's not complicated. It's just meticulous little stuff that most people don't appreciate, how each little crack all contributes to a big leak. One paper cut's not a big deal, but if I give you about 4,000 of them, you'd probably slow you down a touch.
Yeah, for sure.
It speaks to the famous line of Jerry from Integra: precision equals performance.
Absolutely. That guy's full of great quotes, man. You're full of good quotes, but Jerry's also full of good quotes. So that I don't know if my brain, as small as it is, could hang out with the two of you and make it through a full day.
That's why we're making more T-shirts. So we just look at what everyone's wearing and we remember what to say, right?
Yeah. So Etienne,
listen,
I'm going to have you hang out. We're going to get to some questions. We'll let you hang out with us for a little bit, just so everybody knows, because Etienne is the CEO of SIGA of North America. So people joining in with us, Etienne has a big job here in the States, and we're glad to know him. We're glad to have him part of our community. And let's get to some comments and questions that have been put up here. So George Ryman, good morning from Phoenix, Arizona. Surefoot Foundation was born out of the need for BS. I love that. Absolutely. If you don't know what Surefoot Foundations are, definitely take a look at it. But foundations without concrete is a big thing right now.
Love it, George. Thanks for being back. And you speed up the industry and you also keep it cleaner. So enough concrete. Way to go, brother.
Absolutely. And we all know this guy. Where the heck's he at? Wasn't he supposed to be on the show today? All right, Minneapolis. So we have Minneapolis, and then all right. Good old Jerry McKay. What's up, man? Top of the morning to you. Thanks, Jerry.
That's his 5th week in a row, by the way. Also for Rick. Good morning.
Absolutely. We should almost giveaways for that. Putting up
More t-shirts
for 5 weeks in a row. That's enough to put anybody crazy. All right, so we got Rick Hawkins. Good morning, Rick. Another great session, BS Building Systems. Love it. See, that I just opened a can of worms.
There it is.
We have Shane McNutt, beard science or building science. Good morning from Ohio. Hey, what's happening, Shane? We got all of them in here today. We got Joel Hutchins. Hey, Joel, good day, y'all. I hope you took it easy on Anthony Goudet yesterday. Mark Willie, Lindsay Elton, and well, I guess you're just putting that up. I'm reading through it. I don't know if we should put this guy up here.
Hey.
What's happening, Brian? Good morning to you. So we're going to do a couple more here, and then we're going to jump back in because we got quite a few rolling in. So Alex White, good morning from Cambridge, UK. UK Passive Purple. Love it, love it, love it. Troy Aiken, hello, Dave and team. Good to see you, Troy. Thanks for joining in. One of my favorite people in the world. Tim Sims, what's happening, Tim? Oh, he's in his treehouse today.
Yeah, he already answers the question because I normally ask him Airstream or treehouse. So, Tim, besides being the nicest, most helpful member in any community, you always intrigue us with your locations. So, I tip my hat to you, brother. Absolutely.
So, Tim, I think I got a challenge for you. I want you to join us from a hang glider next time. We'll get you wired up with the backpack, and we'll have at it. It'll be fun.
Dave, we don't have that insurance rider. He was just BSing, Tim.
Tim, cancel that. Cancel that.
That's a BS pause. That's a BS pause right there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We have something for that. You realize. Love it. Love it. All right. One more comment. It looks like we got a kind of a question comment from George Ryman. I agree. Add-ons infer additional costs. And it's my experience that most homeowners are not willing to incur additional immediate costs, even if they can save money over the long term. That additional initial cost usually leads to a perception that they will need to trade away other project options. Who wants to take that comment?
Well, I totally agree with George. I think it should just be presented as part of the cost to build, not as an add-on. Why are we making this an option for people? I mean, think about how much time we're spending in our homes right now. It's how we function and feel in our homes that's important. And I loved what Mark said earlier about if you see the building breathing, you better run. I mean, it's about its occupants, and it's about the children inside. Who we want living in these healthy, sustainable dwellings. That's what it's all about.
That was a perfect answer. Anybody else?
There's value in having good products, but good products installed poorly don't work. And so air sealing is simply bringing those products together appropriately. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to build your house, but we're going to air seal so it all works. I tell people nobody's buying insulation. They want to buy a comfortable home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's why we do home performance. It's not material delivery. It's home performance. The house has to perform better once we're done with it. And air sealing is the cheapest, simplest thing we can do. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's not a complicated idea to get across.
And sometimes it's in the way that you're framing the conversation. So Jennifer, you were mentioning, we're spending so much time in our homes, and the utility savings, or talking more, even about home performance. Some homeowners can glaze over on that. But when you talk about health in your kids and asthma or aging parents, and do you want a home that is healthy for them and having that comfort, it seems like those types of perspectives resonate, can hit harder than when you're talking about more of a building science type thing. So it's just, you understand it, you relate to it.
And that's the language that most people speak. Not everybody is trained in the science behind the why. It's about this is why I want this. I don't know what it is to want. I don't know that I want the insulation, but I know that I want to be warm in the morning.
Mhm.
Right? It doesn't seem so hard.
Yep.
Yeah, and the
You
really
can't have a
large
controlled environment unless you control the airflow, and unless you control, everything that moves the air and contains the air. So the controlled environment means controlling the air, and air
Right.
sealing helps you do that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add quickly, Jennifer, you were absolutely right. I mean, don't make it an add-on. And when it comes to air tightness, I think what's crucial is that we have a building code that demands it, and that we have kind of a system that enforces it, because being in the code doesn't mean it always gets done, right? And I guess it's the same with blower door tests. They need to be required, and something needs to happen if you don't pass that. And maybe that's my last question for you, Lindsay and Joe. What's your experience? What happens if you don't pass that test? What if you don't hit the critical mark? What's happening?
We come back and we keep coming back. Well, and so this is one of the things that, in thinking about today and what to talk about, specifically, we try to get in with our project teams as early as possible, so that we can support the team and benefit the team as much as possible. And that, so Etienne, like, that is early mid-construction testing. So you're talking about what happens if they don't meet the threshold. Well, we need to look as the building science professionals, we need to look at those air sealing details. We need to look at the plans at the beginning, call them out, discuss them, make sure that someone's responsible for them. And then when we're on site, look at those key transitions. And I think it was Alex who had written in about, some of the additional penetrations that were in the building, the ones that we had talked about earlier. So making sure that those are taken care of. And then during our mid-construction visit, doing a pre-test. So we're at a point where, hopefully the walls are still open, but you've got your air sealing done and you can do something about it, as opposed to at the end when everything is, kind of polished and you've already done your final walkthrough, and it's going to be more expensive to hit that mark if you don't pass. So really getting in the blower door testing and the importance of air sealing and air barriers, driving it in and looking at points all along the way so that the team can be successful.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love it. Good question, Etienne. Listen, thank you so much for jumping in here. We really appreciate having your insight, your knowledge, your experience, and all the wonderful things. And if what I just heard, Lindsay, it's all about having somebody accountable to make sure it's getting done properly.
Yep, definitely.
And then you don't have to come back 5 times.
Nope. Once is enough. You don't want to see me that much. I'm not that interesting.
Right. All right, everybody. Everybody give Etienne a nice big wave. Goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Nice being on.
Thank you. All right. I love it. So this is where we get in, Mark, I believe, to what is the stupidest thing Lindsay and Joe has ever seen. What is the stupidest thing?
Give it to us, and we got to pick up the pace a little bit. So let it fly.
Love it.
Sure, I'll
Who's
start.
going first? Lindsay, go ahead.
Yeah, this actually happened pretty darn recently. In one of our passive house projects, they used aero barrier. And so I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but the substance goes around and it seals up all the small points used for the blower door test. There was some air barrier that had gotten onto their really expensive passive house windows. And one of the tradespeople came in with like a gas station Brillo pad and tried to get all the aero barrier off of the windows and scratched up the $20,000 to $30,000 worth of windows in the project. So that was an oops that is being felt.
Yeah.
So there's a plug for aero barrier right there. Sorry, folks. Real world conditions.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
Mine's not so much high performance building related. Mine is a little bit more rudimentary. Just doing a home inspection on a pre-purchase for a friend of my wife's in the military. Noticed that the new bathroom in the basement flushed, the toilet flushed into the sump pump. The sump pump then discharged into the yard. And the listing agent happened to show up, and he said, how are things going? I said, well, the plumber's going to have to get a little ear twist. And I explained to what happened, and he goes, well, the code official signed off on it. And of course, I stared at him uncomfortably for a few seconds. I said, is that what my client is supposed to tell his neighbor when there's a brown trout flopping in the yard? Because I don't care if the code official signed off on it. It's not right. So, and that's one of the challenges we have when people say, like, well, the code official signed off, and I'm like, I don't know what he knows, and he might not be anything more than a glorified DMV employee, So wrong is wrong.
Yeah. So
let's face it. All yards need fertilizer, but toilet paper doesn't belong in your grass. You can TP your trees, but come on now, that's enough.
I was getting confused on the brown trout. I'm a fisherman, but
I know, right? I was like, oh, that's a funny, Joe. That's a funny.
I'm going to go fish in my septic tank. This is wonderful. I didn't know I could do that. I love it. Yes. Perfect. All right, everybody, let's get to question number 3. And after question number 3, we're going to hop into some questions, some audience comments that we have coming in, and then we have another special guest.
Hey, Jennifer, how about you take question 3 and figure out who should be answering first?
Yeah. So what do you wish people knew about homes, Joe, other than the brown trouts?
Oh, you're not going to live that one down, Joe. We're gonna require a complete white paper on brown trout out of septic.
It's a euphemism. Just like, yeah. The other one is, when somebody's in the bathroom baking brownies, and they're like, "What?" Homes are complicated, and if you're buying a house, you're obligated to gain some understanding on how things operate. If you have absolutely no willingness to learn, maybe you shouldn't own a home. Maybe you should buy a condo where somebody else takes care of everything for you. But home ownership is great, but it's also a responsibility. You have to at least be responsible enough to learn about what those responsibilities are, and then assign people to take care of it for you. Buying a house is not the end. Buying a house is the beginning. It's the beginning of its own process.
It's so true.
Yeah, you got to educate yourself.
Our cars come with manuals. We just put together a big wheel for our 4-year-old. It came with a manual, extra parts, and told you what to do 6 months from now for the big wheel. What about our homes?
Yeah, and so it's if you don't know, you need to have somebody that can advise you. So when people ask what we do, I'm like, we're building consultants. We advise people about their homes, whether they're buying it, selling it, building it new, or remodeling it. Homes are complicated. Investing is complicated. So you have a financial analyst or a financial advisor. Health and well-being is complicated. That's why you have a doctor that you ask questions to, right? You know your symptoms, but the doctor knows how the body works. So the symptoms in your house. You need to have a building consultant that you can talk to. And in some cases, that could be your home inspector. Keep that relationship going. He's already been through your house when you bought the place. Follow up with questions a year later before you start dropping thousands of dollars with contractors. Maybe run it past the home inspector that was there and looked at the entire house. The tradesman is knowledgeable, but he's knowledgeable about that aspect of your house, right? So he's got a narrow self-interest, right? The home inspector always looks at the whole house, and you as the homeowner are responsible for the whole house. So get a good advisor.
So I love it. Find a trusted advisor for your home. Lindsay, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on what Joe was saying about, a doctor looking at your home, just like your body is a system of systems, your house is a system of systems. So what you're doing in one aspect of the house can affect what you're doing in the other portion of the house. And so really taking a look at the totality, if you're going to change something, it's most likely going to have an effect somewhere else. So having the people, whether that's your inspector or, anyone that you've been working with, or a building science professional, so that they can help you work through some of these things. Like, we've probably all heard stories about tightening up a home and it got too tight because there wasn't enough ventilation or the mechanicals, like there's cause and effect. So just keeping that in mind.
Love it.
Yep.
Great answer. Great answer. All right. So this guy, Mark Willie, posted something. I think it's a good question, and it'd be good to get some follow-up comments on this as we go through, and maybe there are some in there. Many people in our area are putting up solar panels. Is this cost effective, and does it affect the roof pros and cons? What do you guys think on that? Because I think that's a good question, even though I know Mark probably could just ask that to you directly.
Lindsay, you want to take it?
Sure. I mean, I'm a huge advocate of solar. I think that it's the way that we're going to get to some of our net zero goals, and it's just the next evolutionary step. So we tighten up the house, we put the solar on, the costs are coming down. It might not work for everyone right now, but what you can do is you can think for the future and get the home ready or get the building ready so that it can eventually be offset. So I say go. Yep.
Yeah. How about yourself, Joe? Give us a quick comment on that.
I think it's a great goal to shoot for, but it's not the best way to spend your first dollars. Most homes are leaky brown bags of houses, right? A leaky brown box. And why are you going to shove green energy in a brown box, right? I mean, let's first improve the box, improve your house, lower your loads, and then those solar panels will be able to carry a greater percentage of your now reduced load. Same solar array can do 60% instead of 20%, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a great goal. And so when people call us about it, I said, that's awesome. What are you going to do to prepare for that?
Love it. Love it. All right, let's get to some comments. You guys ready for some comments?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Alex White, well said, Joe. Keyword of the day is brown for Joe. Rick Hawkins, Alex White agree. So he was commenting about Alex. Rick Hawkins also said exterior leakage equals potential moisture damage. And that is very, very true. And then he followed up interior leakage, potential energy loss. So good comments. Very good comments. All right, moving down the line here. David Kirk. What's up, David? David's up in your neck of the woods in Chicago. So great comments, Joe. Do you know David?
Yeah, we worked together in the past.
Got it. Yeah. David, I know David fairly well just from a bunch of industry events that we go into. So here we go. Alex White. If the main contractor keeps a close eye on the airtight detail and makes this a big deal amongst all trades, I guarantee all trades will tread lightly and carry out their work in professional, clean manner and install their products with greater care, making not only the airtight detail great at the end of the job, but also all works executed perfectly throughout the whole build, resulting in a load less final issue. Say that 5 times.
Damn, Alex, you got it down. I know you're a building expert, but you're also a good writer, my friend.
Oh my, yes. Alex is the type of person that I'm going to pick up the phone and call when I get an email like that. Like, all right, Alex, let's talk about this.
Yeah, but Alex is not going to. Dave, Alex is not going to pick out slogans for our T-shirts because we would need too many of them.
Yeah, love it.
But I love that Alex is begging for building in a controlled environment, essentially, which is what offsite construction is. So thank you for that well worded statement, Alex.
Yeah, love it. All right. Anybody know this guy, Sean St. Amour? Didn't we just meet this guy? He looks familiar. Yes, what's your plan from day one is what he said, and he has a couple. What is your plan and stick to it?
Exactly.
And then absolutely 2.5 ACH to 0.6 ACH, reducing heat demand by half.
Amazing.
It is amazing. And then David Kirk had a follow-up. Net zero construction will go very far to help our interior heating and cooling efficiency. Thank you, David. Love it. Okay. We caught up on some of these things. Where are we at? Are we going on to question number 4, or are we going to bring in Adam?
I said we bring in Adam. But let's bring in Adam.
He's been waiting a long time. You sure he's not going to be mad at us and spit fire and all that stuff?
No, he had to wait because his brother put in such a long comment. That's why.
Okay, so they're brothers.
He's outdone me before I've even come on. It's not good.
Adam, I guess when your brother writes stuff, I'll just call you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, he's outdone me already. How are we doing all? All good?
Doing good. Adam, thanks for joining us today. Adam, tell us a little bit of your background real quick, and then let's jump into your question.
So I'm the annoying guy on LinkedIn that does the passive purple tweets and messages every day, every week, of every second. And I'm into passive house, and I build passive house timber frame and modular, and yeah, everything passive house is me, really. Me and Alex.
I love it. I love it. You're in line for best accent with Etienne for today.
Whoa. You're up there.
Got it. Go ahead, Mark. Take us away.
Well, Adam, I want to focus for a minute on your background. I just love that wall behind you. If we could showcase that, and while we do, nice job, my friend. Can you bring light to some of the things you could do in the offsite world, and turn it around for what's done in your neck of the woods, and how it correlates to some of the topics that Lindsay and Joe brought forth today?
Right. So what we do, we do the airtight sealant, we do the liquid membranes. What I do here in the UK, so I build timber frame passive house, offsite modular, and we use these construction methods with the liquid membranes pre-installed onto our frames, and then as the frames are going on inside, we connect all the airtight details up as we go, getting down to 0.6 or lower on any form of construction that we do it on. But it's not just timber frame. This can be any masonry build or any form of construction builder that we do. We have a training centre in Cambridgeshire as well. So we train not just our own workers, we train other building companies on how to build efficiently. And that's the big drawback in the UK, which no one wants to train anyone. They just want to whack all these houses up and get all their money, but no one wants to train them how to build a decent house. And that's our core. And that's what me and Alex like doing in Cambridgeshire, is teaching people how to do it. And we even teach our competitors as well. Our competitors on timber frame or masonry builders, they come here and we teach their staff how to build.
I love it. Adam, I'm bringing out my soapbox. Here it comes. Listen, I love that you're teaching other people, because the reality of it is, in our industry, we have only one way to go, and that is up, whether it's in passive house, energy efficient. You know, I'm an offsite guy. We're only 4% of the entire market. We should be educating all of everybody, competitors, not competitors, because we can all grow together. Now, I agree. Listen, if we were 99.9% of the market, I could understand trying to keep some secrets, because, you know, the pennies are getting tight on everybody. But that's just not our case in a couple $100 billion industry. So I give both of you guys all the credit in the world, man. Teach your competitors, teach everybody. We can row in the same direction. And by God, we will do it the right way. And all these big stick builders and people that, like you said, are out there just slapping them up, they're going to learn. Yeah. They're going to follow. And eventually we'll all be on the same bandwagon together, you know? Love it.
We have to train the trades, and we have to acknowledge the fact that we do not have as many trades, right? Tens of thousands are stepping out, and tens of thousands are stepping out. This is repeated data. It's in your face, people. So if we have offsite construction and we have the ability to train people in a controlled setting, and if we have this knowledge of building science and apply it, everyone wins. We have healthy, comfortable buildings, and we have people enjoying their work, putting forth quality, because that's what a tradesperson wants to do. They want to embrace craftsmanship, and they want to brag. I made this. I did this, and my client loves it.
Yeah,
and it adds value to the home as well. And that's another thing we try and teach builders in the UK. It actually adds value to your home that you're trying to sell, to have an eco home. So the extra kudos of having the air tightness and the thermal envelope, it does add that value. So they were going to make money by learning how to build better.
Yeah, love it. All right, let's hop into the question.
Adam, what we'll do is we'll have you ask the question. I thank you for coming on, my friend. And Lindsay, you could be the first to answer.
Go ahead, Adam.
I can't see. What am I just going to ask a question? I thought one was going to pop up.
There should be a question there, Dave.
It didn't pop up. Oh, let's try it again. Go ahead, Adam.
What will be the next challenge or area of advancement in home building, apart from using passive purple?
Yeah. I think it's in addition with the air sealing, I think it's just getting the ventilation, making sure that people are properly ventilating and putting balanced ventilation systems instead of exhaust only or supply, knowing what happens with those types of systems and having a heat recovery, moisture mitigation, balanced fresh air system is that additional component for indoor air quality and comfort. I think that's once everybody, I mean, it's in the market, but I can't tell you how many homes we've been to that are these multi-million-dollar homes or regular homes that is an afterthought. So it's really getting that into the forefront of people's minds. It's got to be quality. We're spending so much time indoors, and people need healthy homes.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of builders don't understand if they make their house airtight as well, they have to have heat recovery as well. It's just a must. I believe every building needs it. It should do. If you built a good home, how it should be built, it needs heat recovery. It should be compulsory. That's one thing I'm pushing for. Definitely.
So I think kind of going off of what Lindsay said, I think more broadly we can understand that as managing air quality within the home, right? So the balance mechanical, the heat recovery, and that's for fresh air exchange to manage air quality in the home. So I think the big thing is going to be demand controlled ventilation, so that you can see when does my air quality diminishing, what am I doing that might be contributing to that, how can I stop, and the mechanical systems that automatically kick in to help dilute the CO2 or the VOCs or the particulate or filter the particulate that you've got, a system that can monitor and on demand ramp up to manage the air quality. I think that's going to be what our near term advancements are going to be, or our focuses are going to be on maintaining the air quality. I think longer term, it might be more towards resiliency. I mean, I think everybody got a little taste of that with the shelter in place. And this will be a discussion that we can have another time, but imagine what would happen if you lost power to your house for an hour or a day or a week or a month. So it gets a little scary when you get longer term. But even if the power went out for a week, what would you need to do in your house? What did they do in Puerto Rico when the hurricane took out power? People with who were keeping their insulin cold in refrigerators, they didn't do very well. A lot of them died because they didn't have that resiliency. They didn't have that backup system. So I think that might be a longer term goal. But I've talked to more and more people, and I think that's, they've already kind of got their heads wrapped around the building science, the home performance portion of things and the air quality. And now the next stage is, well, what if I lose power? What if I lose gas? What if I lose this? How resilient is my system? So that's a little bit longer term, but I think that's where it's going. Love it.
Well, listen, Adam, man, thanks for coming on. I tell you what, I think we'll get through these last couple comments and quotes that we're going to jump into, and just hang tight. We'll bring you and Sean back on. Etienne had to run. I can only bring in one at a time, and we'll just do one last farewell. And thank you for being on the show. So if you can stick around.
No worries.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay, we are through the questions. Now we are going to the quote of the day. Quote of the day. Who's going to take it from here, Jen?
Lindsay, I have to say, I love your quote. I had a glimpse of it earlier, so please share it.
All right, you ready, Lindsay? I'll put it up for the world to see.
Would you like me to state it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just curious. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
I love it.
Yeah, Lindsay, you shared your story earlier, and it sounds like this quote has true meaning for you. You know, you had your awakening where you said, this isn't making me happy anymore.
Yep.
And look at you now.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be amongst y'all. So blessed.
Makes your hair stand up on right when you hear that kind of background and inspiration. We do need people to come alive. I love it.
We do. If you can get your beard to stand up when I love it. All right, Joe, I think I have your quote right here. Tell us. In fact, what's funny about this quote, there's a story that if you understood the whole story.
Yeah.
So if you want to take us on a quick journey of your story to get to your quote, I think it would be great.
I'll summarize the story. Newspaper printing press was having issues. Nobody knew what was going on. They had to bring a guy out of retirement to come take a look at what was going on. He stared at the system for a little while, opened up a control panel, turned a screw, 1/4 turn, and everything started working. He was told to send in his invoice. He sent that in for $10,000, and the owner said, "Can you please itemize that?" Because he didn't want to pay $10,000 for a screw turn. And he said $1 for turning the screw and $9,999 for knowing which screw to turn. And when dealing with weird stuff in homes, that's my goal is to try to figure out what screw needs turning. Sometimes it's a building thing. Sometimes it's an occupant, thing. The occupants are operating the system improperly because they're from Southern California and they don't know how a house in the Midwest works in the wintertime, and sometimes they're getting bad advice from tradespeople that are going on anecdotal stories that they've heard for 20 years because they don't understand the building science behind it. So, and it's not that I walk into a house and I know immediately what screw to turn. Half the time I end up asking people questions and saying, okay, stop, hold on. Let me clarify the question because I'm trying to figure out what screw in this home needs turning, and because, and it's not always easy and cheap. But again, the goal for me is to, if people are going to spend time, money, and emotional energy on improving their homes, I want to get them on point, and I want to make sure I'm telling them which is the right screw to turn.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so true, right? When somebody's having a problem, I'll pay anything to fix it. I'm losing money. I can't run my press, blah, blah, blah. Then you send them an invoice because you have 10,000 hours of knowledge that you could identify that in a split second. And then they say, oh, we don't want to pay you. You're just a tradesperson. Like this stuff happens often, right? So I love that example. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, you get that all the time. You're not going to even fix it. I got to pay you. I got to pay you for your advice. I'm like, you can hire a myriad of contractors. They'll pay you for anything they can pull out of their toolbox and throw at your problem, right?
That's right.
And maybe somewhere in there you'll find the right pieces and parts, but probably not in the right order and measure. And so you are going to pay me because that simplifies how much more money, how much more time, and how much more emotional energy you have to apply to this problem. So we're minimizing all that. Trying to find that out.
Sometimes, Joe, people will hire not the sharpest tool in the shed. And sometimes the person calling doesn't actually know what they're saying, or perhaps they have a screw loose, right? And so that's when we have to put the occupant, the resident, the people, the important part on the shelf and say, okay, I heard what you said. None of what you're saying is true or makes sense. Let me talk to the building and let the building talk to me, right?
Yep. Love it. All right, let's get into some Q&A, some comments here that we have going up. I'm going to run through them fairly quick. Can you believe we've been on this for an hour and 6 minutes already? And there's still people listening to us? They must all have a screw loose spending this much time with us. Could you imagine if we went to fix something and the person had a screw loose as well, and we could fix both and charge $20,000 instead of 10, send that invoice. All right,
Well,
before I get myself in trouble, I'm moving on.
I can't imagine that, by the way. I really can. Been there.
All right, Alex White. Here we go. You guys are smashing it. I love when we get fun comments like that. All right. Jennifer, anybody know this one? We all win. Love it. Sean's jumping in with some comments. Absolutely, Lindsay. Need to use all 5 passive house principles. Can't do just air tightness. So true. Anthony Good, he joined us. Hey, Anthony. I was wondering when you come in. I know, love it. Anthony's an awesome guy. So Anthony said, Joe Konapaki, I said it wrong. Konapaki. I got it wrong again. Through pound resiliency. I know, I need something to drink. Getting dry. All right. Rick Hawkins always chiming in. The challenge is the general public assumes that their homes are built for a healthy, energy efficient standard. Education is the public key. It is in making that education accessible. And fun.
And fun. Yep.
Why not? Why, if it's fun, people want to do it. All right.
I think they spell fun PHUN, if I have that right. Sean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, or Alex. I believe it's PHUN. That's what the cool kids are doing today.
Yeah, that's the kind of fun we're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Here's a name we haven't had up for a while. Michael Ngui. How are you, buddy? Nice to see you. Thank you. It's kind of
happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, Michael. We are so thrilled for what you've accomplished with the Passive House Accelerator. For people that don't know, he's a real badass.
They put his name back there.
Badass in New York, and he gives it all away. So he takes 100-plus-year-old buildings and row homes, and he gives his knowledge away to all his competitors and to the entire marketplace and to the entire global Passive House Accelerator. You're punching it forward for everyone, Michael, and much respect to you, brother. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Much respect. Love it. You know what? And that's one thing about this whole community, Mark, and I think you agree. Lindsay, Joe, Jen, I think you guys will agree as well. Everybody shares.
Yep.
We all like to share. We all like to educate.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
I like to refer to everybody else in this end of the industry as my colleagues, because our competition is the status quo.
Yep.
I love that.
That's our competition. Is common knowledge and status quo, and it's behind the times.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Good, George, as usual, great BS. All right. Well, I mean, that just sums it up right there. Thanks. Great show. All right. So that's the end of the show for today. Why don't we bring them back in one at a time, because we only have room for 6 on the screen. First, we're going to bring in Sean. He's been sitting there patiently. Sean, thank you for helping us today with our show and joining us, sharing from your knowledge and
we are amazing.
everything that you do.
Except for this year. In 2017 and 2018,
What am I listening to?
They gave us a run for our money.
All right.
I think,
Hey, guys.
I think Sean is busy editing videos for the Passive House Accelerator in the background.
Hello.
Yeah. We can't hear. Don't worry about it, Sean. You're good. But hey, listen, everybody, big round of applause for Sean. Thank you.
For the most holds.
All right. We'll see you, buddy. Thanks so much, Sean. Hey, we're back across the pond again. So listen, a big thank you as well. Let me get that banner off there. So Adam, thank you for joining us. What do you got to say, Mark?
No, thank you for having me, guys.
Adam, you're such a pleasure to talk to, and I love what you guys are doing with training facilities and Airbnbs for passive house tradespeople and your community, so people can experience what it's like to stay in quiet, comfortable, healthy, beautiful building, right, with natural materials. You guys are really trendsetters, both for the industry as well as for our community. And I tip my hat to you, brother. It's you're a great friend. You make great products, and you always answer my call. So there must be a reason, and I much respect. Hey,
Don't forget.
Well, we didn't know we had like some guests. Who is that? Tell us, Adam. We got to know.
So we've got Alex, and then we've got the dog.
You got Alex and then the dog. Look at the dog's face. That is cute. I think that dog's cuter than you, Mark.
Yeah, I believe that's true. Hey, Alex, we really appreciate your quote earlier. I don't think people recognize you because you're not wearing your fancy suit and tie, brother.
That's it. I know. Great
Well,
show,
listen.
guys.
Well, hey, thanks for
Thank
popping
you.
in. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, and thank you for bringing the dog to show up Mark Willie. He's always stealing the thunder with that
I
beard.
think, hey, Adam, I'm kind of speaking my mind here, Dave. So roll with me. Adam, it was nice for you to pop in today, and of course have ATN on as well, and Sean from 475. The three of you always offer solutions, right, to the industry of the same problems that we face, and I would like to openly invite the three of you to come back and join the program, and kind of speak to your solutions if you'd be so welcome to do so. Sean, what do you say, brother?
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. Me and Sega can compare notes on our products.
All right, well, who wants to do a fun Kahoot today? Last day of school Kahoot. Woo!
I do.
So Sean sent us a message saying that his wife is teaching her class. So we're all stuck in this world where we're at home, right? My kids are ready to pop through the door any second. I should say our kids ready to pop through the door. So, well, listen, everyone, I have one more comment to put up here. Tom Reddy, always a big supporter of ours. Thanks, Tom. Collaboration within the industry will carry us all further. 100% agree. And here's Sean. Sorry, what teacher. Hey, listen, we're all working together. I think it's a funny thing. Sean, you just added a good laugh for us.
Yeah. No BS here. Lindsay and Joe, you've been longtime leaders in Chicagoland and certainly now Detroit. We barely touched on those beautiful red doors of truth behind you. So if you have some final comments or something, I just want to say much respect and thank you for joining us. It was fun to be us. It was really fun.
Thanks for your invitation, Mark and Dave. It was great. Lindsay and I have been working together on projects here and there, and just one earlier before this project. So we'll be working together constantly. So, but yeah, great to be part of the community.
Yep. Thank you so much. And if there's, I think it goes for all of us, if we can be of support or a resource, we're here to help. We're all in this together. So let's do it. Let's collaborate and let's move it forward.
I love it. You know what I need? I need everybody to give a big thumbs up so we have a great screenshot for this video that everybody can like and share afterwards. Jennifer, where's your thumbs up?
There we go.
All right, everybody. Up a little higher, Joe.
There we go.
Good deal. So listen, we will see everybody next Friday. I love it. We got some big things coming up, just so everybody knows. Let me do a couple plugs. Coffee with Dave tomorrow. So please, if you got coffee mugs and you want me to promote your business, send them in. We will drink out of them. Mark and I both. Also, Monday, we have George Casey on. We are going over the McKinsey report, the most recent McKinsey report. If you don't know George Casey, you want to be on this one. George is in all the big articles. He is a big name in the industry, and we're going to review this report, and we may have some guest speakers. I don't know who they are 100% yet, but they're going to be a lot of fun. And then what do we have? We got Building Modular on Tuesday that's hosted by Jennifer. Wednesday, we have a product spotlight. What is Wednesday?
We'll have to wait for the big reveal.
Yeah, I got to think. We got the big reveal on Wednesday. I can't even keep up anymore. Thursday we have Professor Nez, and Friday back here with BS Friday. So listen, everybody, have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.
Keep on BSing in your community. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mark.